Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 181. We're a podcast that talks about pop culture things that interest us. And sometimes there's whiskey. My name is John, and I'm joined as always by Andrea. How's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
Very good. Extra good tonight because we're also joined by Mike. How you doing, Mike?
Ooh.
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mike got the gray memo. Check it all
Yeah.
out. Hopefully
Well,
our
yeah.
conversation is lively to make up for our attire.
Mike,
doing,
it's
like,
probably
ASMR.
just not picking it up because I'm actually navy blue and white.
Oh, well, it's looking
Yeah.
gray on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. Let's see if we can.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is the dress
Yeah.
black and gold or blue and silver?
That's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a very
good.
it's
That's
like
good.
it's a
Yeah,
fine
I
little
definitely
weave. So
picked up the Navy accent, but yeah. Huh. Okay.
sorry to disappoint. Whatever. I guess it's we'll go with gray. All right, we'll go with gray.
I tried to make you one of us, John.
I love this shirt, so I had to clarify.
I love it too.
But, oh, thank you. It's a Kingsman shirt. You know the movie is Kingsman and stuff.
Mm.
So
Oh, yeah.
part of
How
the
Shirt.
what's that?
How is it a Kingsman shirt?
So, in the development of the Kingsman movie, which is based on and co-developed in tandem with the comic book,
Uh-huh.
part of Matthew Vaughn's whole thing was he sees a lot of dudes not dressed particularly well, and so like the
Mhm.
whole Kingsman thing was we're going to have the best of Savile Row, England. They're going to pick up some of the brands or whatever Drake's and different companies to
Mm.
pieces and for the movie. And so you could
Mhm.
get pieces from the movie through a shop called Mr. Porter. Now
Oh,
they've
cool.
continued since then on Mr. Porter creating things that are inspired by or whatever that world. So some
Okay.
pieces are direct from the film, and others are brands that worked on the film, and now they make a new piece that's for the Kingsman brand. So there's a Kingsman label on it or whatever, and yeah.
So what do you have? Do you have actual movie or inspired
Nope.
by?
This is inspired by, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the actual movie things are suit pieces. There's some pocket squares, glasses, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Uh, but yeah. So
Okay.
I like looking on there. They still come with new things once in a while. Argyle is in the movie Argyle
Mhm.
that came out a couple
Yeah.
years ago. Same thing. So there's pieces from that in there as well.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So
Cool.
I love this shirt. It's my first day wearing it. Made in Scotland. Yeah. No one cared,
Yeah.
but it came up. So
I care. I
yeah.
love Scotland.
All right. Yeah. Anyways, fashion episode was a couple weeks ago. That's when
Still on
I
my
thought
mind,
that.
apparently.
Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about Daredevil Born Again. As many have pointed out, they sort of did the Born Again story, so it's Born Again, Born Again. But the first 2 episodes came out last week. There's one more out. Andrew and I have seen the first 2. Mike may have seen
Me
the
too.
3rd one, but
I've seen the first 2.
oh, perfect. Okay, that's great. But we're going to discuss those first 2 episodes.
Mhm.
Do we think about it? It's been hotly anticipated, so
Mhm.
yeah. Before all that, we'll talk about our weeks a little bit and then cover drink holidays. See what we should be drinking.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a pretty fair slew of drink holidays to start off the month of March. So, going to reach back quick into the end of February. February 27th was National Kahlua Day. But then skipping right into our current month, I mean, nothing more March than this. March 3rd was National Irish Whiskey Day. Seems like it could have waited a couple weeks, but hey, the 3rd is a
Mhm.
good day too. which also mulled wine day if you're wanting to save your Irish whiskey for St. Patty's. And then the next day, going into another big party, Mardi Gras. Um, drink a hurricane if you're so inclined. It's nice and warm here in Minnesota, so you could have done that. Otherwise, back to green. March 5th was Absinthe Day.
Okay.
That's our first
Oh.
roster of drink holidays.
That
Nice.
brings me back.
What's that?
I love
Absinthe?
it.
Oh yeah.
Mike
I
had some
thought we were the
days, man.
coolest. I did. Oh, we were so cool. Stuff will mess you up. It's got wormwood.
Right. Where's the little green fairy?
Lies.
Oh, man.
Lies. I was misled by that documentary known as Moulin Rouge.
Yeah. The
was
true
misled.
story.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. So, okay. Well, very good. Are you celebrating any of these holidays, Andrea?
I am. I poured myself something that I often drink for St. Patty's Day. So I have a big ginger in my glass made with Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey. So, and
Nice.
That's slick.
I'm sorry.
Very nice.
I love my new Stein. So
That's cool.
mixing cultures, but it works for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of the game that we're playing now that you get sort of like I suppose it's supposed to be like a coffee carafe, clear one with a top like that, but you put soup in it in this game, and every time you open it, take a drink, it like pops like it's carbonated, and I don't know,
Carbonated
it's very
soup.
weird, but yeah.
Every time I pop this, I think of the outtakes from Liar Liar, where Jim Carrey has like a carafe and he's just like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," like trying to make people laugh. Like that's all I can see in my mind is all of his outtakes.
Very nice.
Which
Very
should
nice.
tell you something about my age and the gen I belong to. So
Yeah.
Wasn't that was in the same line of bloopers as the it's a goose. Right?
Goose. Yes.
All right. Love it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Those are some of the best bloopers I've ever seen.
Mhm. He's an insane man, that's for sure.
Yes. Yes. Very
Talented
funny
and
man.
insane. Mike, I know we didn't warn you or anything like that, but you got any drinks on hand? Or
I don't. No. I'm just not interesting today. So I got nothing for you.
no,
Mike's
you were.
embracing gray.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing to drink.
No,
Fine.
it's all right. That's right.
What
On the
about you?
next anime podcast, Mike will have
There
the
you
drink, and then
Yeah, I get it
have
all
a
backwards,
drink.
don't I?
Yeah,
He-
yeah. Well, Tony does that for
gonna
sure.
pick-
Yeah,
He's gonna pick up the absinthe just to
yeah.
live the good old days. Be extra.
That'd be an interesting podcast.
Yep. We're gonna play clips of you from this one and that one side by side. Just
Yeah, what I'm drinking, I do have something, but I'm going to reveal what it is when I talk about my week because it's related to that. It's not actually really celebrating one of the
Ooh,
holidays, so
it is
Just
electric.
Mountain Dew.
Also, I like that glass. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
Mountain Dew. I
Mountain
love it.
it doesn't even look like it's supposed to, but it's going to be tasty. I think
You honestly were holding it so still it didn't even look like a liquid for a second. It like the liquid was
yeah.
not moving around. It just you were like, look at this
Oh yeah.
thing. Yeah.
No, if I try to do it, it won't manage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steady hands.
Alan says chartreuse. Is that the color you're seeing there?
Yeah, it's Mountain Dew.
Chartreuse.
Mountain Dew.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike nailed it.
Okay. Very good. Well, salud. And what's Alan sharing here? Oh, okay. Liquor, French. Nope, it is not. Sorry, Alan. I will tell you in a bit. Okay, weeks. Mike, what have you been? It's been a while, but are there any big shows or video games or some sort of media you've consumed that we must know about that's either great or absolutely terrible?
Yeah, there's this show now. It's been a few years since they wrote anything for it, and they're just bringing it back. It was a Netflix show, and now
Okay.
Disney has brought it back.
Okay, so
Now
Daredevil, yes.
I've been binging the first 3 seasons of Daredevil,
Yeah, I
because I
did
wanted to do
too.
the. Did you? Nice.
Yeah.
The compare and contrast is it's
Yes.
good, right? Like it's good to have it
Mhm.
fresh. It's been so many years. Um, Drive to Survive came out. I think it's their 7th season. That's the F1 documentary that made all the Americans fall in love with Formula One.
Mhm.
So had a little watch party for that. But otherwise,
That's
as far
fun.
as media goes, I've been dug into Marvel Rivals, deep into Marvel Rivals, the video game.
Oh,
okay.
Marvel Rivals.
Yeah,
I heard Muzzle Rivals. I'm like, what is this
that's a
exactly?
different game altogether.
Yeah.
Well, and
Okay.
I couldn't quite hear it, so I heard something and then revivals. So I was like, what is
Mm.
this now? Like,
Both of those sound more interesting than what I've been doing.
Alan said Muggle Rider. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
There we
I don't
go.
know.
Keeping on the
Oh
trend.
man. Alan must have his own drink
Way
tonight. He's feeling saucy.
that would be a hell of a Harry Potter game, though, wouldn't it be?
Yes.
Muggle Rider.
There could be
What
something
would
to
that
break something
be?
here.
What would that be? Is that
Muggle
so?
Riders.
What first comes to my mind
That's
is that you're a lone Muggle in some sort of wizarding race, and you're like Anakin Skywalker. I'm the only human that can do it. And so I'm the only Muggle that can compete in this. And so
Ooh,
you're like, spit on, you're no good. You can't do it, but you
okay.
don't have any magic, but somehow you can compete in this in this wizarding race.
that's
Mm.
so much more wholesome than where my
Yeah.
mind went.
Well,
My
Yeah.
mind was like Voldemort won, and now we ride Muggles. You know,
oh,
um,
okay,
yep,
okay. So
and they're just
they're
our
like your
slaves.
seed. Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sort of where my mind went, like in that general, concept. And then I was trying to think of like, well, what would it be? And then I was trying to like wizard challenges. You're a wizard, but you have to like learn how to, ride a subway or drive a car or get on the ferry, like just random stuff that it's like surprise, like uh, pay for your
3 different
exact bus
genres.
fare.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Oh man, I don't know.
Which
Interesting.
game do you think would outsell John's, Andrea's, or mine?
I think John's.
Okay,
John's.
all right.
That'd be fun to be a muggle. But like what would there be
Muggle
any
Pod
challenge for you
Racer.
as Yeah, that's honestly where I went. But then where would you go as a muggle? Like, do you know how would you be any different from a wizard?
Well, say you're racing flying cars, like Ron's dad makes, and so you're racing flying
Oh,
cars. But then
okay.
there'd
You're
be
thinking
like a
about
road
broomstick.
rash element where you could like cast spells at neighboring cars and stuff, and like
Then
knock them off course and like pull them out of their
then are you
cab
a
and also.
wizard?
But no, you're not a wizard. That's the thing. You
Oh,
can't
so
do
they
that.
can do
They
that.
can do
You
it.
can't. Okay, okay,
Yes,
Ah,
that's your
okay,
disadvantage. So
okay.
you
I see.
can fly the car if it cooperates, you have a relationship with
Sure.
it, whatever, but you can't, you don't get to.
Relationship.
Well, you know how that car seemed pretty temperamental.
Yes.
So it's like if it didn't
Ron
like
and that
it,
car did not have a good relationship.
yeah, exactly. And that's like a literal sense, right, Mike, of
Yeah.
your relationship with a car, but it's a
yeah,
literal sense this way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. You got it.
Interesting.
Mhm.
All right. So no, and
We got something here.
instead of that, I've been playing as a shark bulldog, spitting
Okay.
water at people. So,
I was
yep.
just gonna ask who your
I mean,
main was. All right.
That's fun.
yeah, I'm degenerate.
That seems
Yeah.
enjoyable.
Oh, it's a black. He's so cute. He's so cute, but he just terrorizes people if you do it the right way. And I
I'm
also
gonna
get a
need
big
to
kick
see
out of it.
visuals. Thank you.
Oh, yes, Jeff, you got it.
Yes, please.
Yeah, throw Jeff the land shark. There he is. Look at
Oh
that.
my God, he's so cute.
What a good boy.
He's like a shark Stitch.
Yes, that's a
Yeah.
great way to put it. Yes.
Oh, I love it.
One of his abilities is he can like go underwater, right? But he can do it
Mhm.
against, across all kinds of terrain, but his little fin still sticks out. And he goes,
cute.
dun, 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 dun. It's amazing.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I want to play it right now.
That's
You
cool.
should.
Thanks for the
and I'll play
podcast,
it with
guys.
you.
It's been really fun.
He's also
Oh man.
he's considered a troll pick in like competitive because
Oh,
Okay.
people think of him as a healer. It's Overwatch, right? This game is Overwatch, but for Marvel characters. So they think of him as a healer. So if you don't play it exactly that way, they get mad at you. And then if
Mhm.
he's not particularly good at just healing necessarily, he's designed to be played a different way. So I also get a kick out of that because it makes everybody tilt just like right away before anything even happens. They're already mad. So good stuff.
No.
I love the
That's fun.
casual gamer term there. It's not long ago. You just get used to it. Just watch a few streamers or whatever, and then you're just in that culture somehow, and then you just use those words, and people don't know what you're talking about. So like getting tilted. A lot of
Oh,
people.
yeah.
I had to explain that to Ashley a while
Sure.
ago. Yeah.
Sure.
So love it. I should play some more of it. I had been, I haven't been
We had
playing
like
much
one
except
day
for
of
the one
it.
game. I know. Yeah. That's all I played that one day with you. So
Oh my God.
yeah.
Shameful.
Apologies. Yep. Andrea, how about you? Hopefully not shamefully not playing as cute Jeff like me.
Oh, unfortunately, I mean, I just learned about it right now, so I mean, can't really say
Free
that
to
I have.
play.
But
Free to
yeah,
play. Yeah. Yeah.
we can do that. Yeah, I haven't been consuming too much media, honestly, in the recent time period because I just got back from California and spent all my time outside, as you should, when it is spring and beautiful in California. So, before that, I did talk last pod episode about, binging Daredevil again because I'd never seen season 3 before, so I knew I was gonna like catch up on season 3, and so I just decided like, F it, I'm just gonna go back and rewatch because at this point, why not? So I'd caught up on all of that, and then, of course, watched the first 2 episodes of Born Again, and for like very random, like fun on the side, less intense shows. Chris and I have been watching Love Is Blind because it's set in Minnesota, and his sister who lives in California also watched it, so we watched an episode together. So that was kind of fun. That was like the only time we did TV. And then I watched a Netflix show, which was like fun and bouncy and light, but also like just, kind of empowering as well, which is Survival of the Thickest, which is about a girl who gets cheated on and has to kind of start her life over, but just does it in really fun, interesting ways, has some good friends, and it's just kind of a nice reminder that, you can be resilient.
So is it like thickest skin?
She's also a big girl.
Okay.
And everybody assumes that like he cheated on her because she's a big girl, and she's just basically like, F it, I am awesome. And my weight shouldn't matter as to why this guy cheated because I'm great.
I thought you were just gonna say F it. Yeah, he cheated because I, did something else awful.
Oh no, nope. So yeah, so it could be like Survival of the Thickest Skin. I kind of like that interpretation, but
yeah. Well, my mind went there first, and it's like, wait, is this a reality show? And it's like they're gonna put a whole bunch of heavyweight people into the pit somewhere, and like who can come out on top, or
Jeff comes out.
yeah. Nice.
It's like the opposite of that South Korean show we watched, John. That Physical 100.
Physical 100?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched that. I've been meaning to.
That
Oh my God.
me lifting again. Like that show was again inspiring. You know, I'd be
Mhm.
sitting there. I'm like, I can't be lazy right now, and so I do
Mhm.
push-ups while
100%.
watching the show. You know, it's
I
just
like
like,
it.
100%.
mm,
Yeah. I remember you talking highly of that show, and I meant to watch it and just forgot about it, so now you've reminded me. So thank you.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I
Uh,
like that, John. I think, Andrea, you'll just end up doing push-ups too. You'll be hitting crunches. Just like, dang,
I love
it
it.
just
yep.
has that effect on you.
I love
It
it.
does. It's so positive. Everybody's so like
Yep.
good to one another, all complimentary of each other's
Yes.
forms and stuff, and like just
I remember this. We were talking about, like, it's like Great British Baking Show, but for, like, fit
yeah,
people.
yeah,
Instead of everybody being like, "Let me help you bake," it's like, "Let me spot you."
yep.
Yep.
I love your lift.
uh, very good, nice. Well,
How
I've
about you,
been,
John?
yeah, other than Daredevil, I watched the first episode of Severance. I had just like for some reason turned that on momentarily a couple years ago or something like that, whenever it came out,
Mhm.
kind of,
Yeah.
but didn't keep going with it. Was in the middle of something else, but I finished the first episode. It's very intriguing. It's interesting. Well shot. So be a fun one to keep going on.
Mhm.
But really, my time was dominated this last couple weeks by Andor. I got Disney Plus, got Disney Plus for Daredevil. It's like I'm giving this show a shot.
Mhm.
And while I had it, it's like, okay, let's put on. I'm already paying for this stinking service. Put on Andor. It is a fucking great show. Like it is really good.
Oh my god.
Stunned.
Somewhere, somewhere, Dustin is doing cartwheels of joy to hear you say that. He is just
I talked to Dustin
so many
for
years of
over an
work.
hour about it. Yep.
So many years
Mhm.
of work to get you to watch that show, and you finally did it.
Well, I was like, is someone's got to send me a copy? You know, like buy it for me, then send it to me. That's how this is going to work. Otherwise, you know. But
Was that even possible?
it is,
It
yes.
is. Okay.
And I want to buy the show,
Wow.
but I'm thinking maybe I'll wait for season 2 and like
Disney does
buy a
like this.
set.
Sometimes shit is available, and sometimes it's like, "It's out of the vault, it's in the vault." Like, ugh,
Yeah.
I hate that. I
Mhm.
hate when they're
Yep.
talking about the vaults.
So I just, why this show works is because it doesn't have anything to do with the parts of Star Wars they've ruined. So like it's far removed from that.
Mhm.
Um, that's incredibly beneficial. Two, it really isn't relying on much else from Star Wars. Like we don't do the whole thing of let's go to the same planets. We don't do let's use the same lines. I got a bad feeling about this. We don't do any of those things. We don't make several droids just there for comedic, relief. We don't do Jedi. We don't do like just put aliens in places for the hell of it. That's just burn special effects because
You have
there's
a bug in your house. Oh god.
yeah, there's a fly in here. Yeah,
Sorry,
it's a little
I
warmer
can't help
now, so
it.
out come the
I
bugs.
know, I know. I had to, like, get a fly on my window the other day, and I was like, "Really, Minnesota? It
Yeah, that's how it
there's still
works.
snow on the ground, like, get out." Sorry.
No, that's right. So yeah,
Alright,
it works
amazing
on a lot of
plotting.
levels. It's clearly very well thought out. It is hot. What I complain about on a lot of shows, and when we were still watching all the Marvel stuff leading up to on this podcast and all that sort of thing, what I would complain about all the time is production value. It doesn't look good. It seems like people that don't know how to write are writing these things, and people who don't know how to shoot movies and TV are shooting these things. Is not the case for this show. It is written by and planned out by the dude that did all the Jason Bourne movies. So he's the one that like screenplayed out the Bourne stuff. Um, and he they liked Rogue One. Who he came in to kind of save. He did the cleanups and the final writing
Oh,
and stuff of Rogue One. And I think, were appreciative of that, liked his pitch for a series, and they let him go to town. It seemed like they didn't have any meddling with it. He plotted out 2 seasons. That's it. That leads up to Rogue One, and that's where we're gonna get. Season 2 comes out in April. So it's 12
Fascinating.
episodes of like finely paced storytelling. Like it has character arcs for multiple people. It's a fascinating, like accurate look. What it does in best service is where it gives a accurate look at rebellion and the cost of rebellion, and like how things aren't black and white, and how different people have different motivations for being part of a rebellion, and what it means to them, and how do they come to that point of deciding what they have to sacrifice.
Mhm.
Blown away.
Does it talk about like how the rebels are the bad guys effectively until they win, and then they're the heroes? I mean, just in any sort of rebellion, right? Because you've got the political agenda against
Yeah.
the rebellion, trying to convince the populace that rebellion, the rebellious ones, are the bad guys, basically.
Yeah, the people they focus on. I mean, you understand who's in control and how they frame the rebels, obviously, but any sort of rebellion causes problems for the general populace as well. So
Mhm.
there's elements of that.
I feel like that was a little more straightforward in Rogue One.
Mhm.
Yeah, this
Like
is
that propaganda was a little more present in Rogue
Mhm.
One, which obviously is, the basis for Andor's
mhm,
content.
yep. I mean, you think about Han Solo. It goes from in A New Hope, smuggler. I don't care about this. I'm just trying to get, like it's a job, whatever. To the end, like, okay, yeah, I'm part of the rebellion. That happens quick. It's fine. It's good.
Mhm.
It's whatever, But this is how Andor gets there over the course of like 12 hours.
Mhm.
It's explored, and then we've got 12 more hours coming or whatever, 11 hours, whatever it is. So,
So
um,
when Disney stays out of it, it's good. I wonder if there's.
what I think when they hire someone that's a practiced writer, proven writer,
Mhm.
that's been in the
Mhm.
business and done it for a while, that has like, you know, enough money and is able to create a clear vision.
Mhm.
Like, because we're messed up the most is like with the prequel trilogy, or sorry, the sequel trilogy, where is you have different people's visions trying to puzzle piece itself together. There's no consistency, there's no through line, there's no plan,
Mhm.
there's no whatever.
Mhm.
This is clearly set up from beginning to end.
Mhm.
And it's not
Mhm.
one of those things like, oh, there's also a definite end. Rogue One is the definite end. So there's not, let's drag this on for 6 seasons because people like it, so we have to come up with something.
Mhm.
No, where we know where it ends, where does it begin, and how do we get there? And so it's a thing that makes sense, that can be filled in.
Mhm.
I think that does them a huge benefit. And the themes that Tony Gilroy's talking about is like, it really is analyzing that rebellion. He talked a lot about pulling at what sci-fi allows you to do, is pull at a lot of different pieces from rebellions and uprisings throughout history from all different places. So you have a little piece from here, a little piece from there, just to get a sense on where it can feel like a realistic whole piece. And it also does something good in the way it's structured, where there's like 4 different arcs, or 3, maybe it's like it rises to a crescendo in one story, and then a few episodes to another one, and then to another one in the finale. So it's not like, so there's like segments to it, so it can kind of it keeps changing. I don't know, and side characters are all well done, and you get to see Stellan Skarsgård acting with Forrest Whitaker. Like it's got good people in it too,
Mhm.
talent. Yeah, blown away. I can't believe more people, didn't give it a. Because I remember people saying about it, no one was like, "Oh, I hate this." It was just like saying it was boring. And to me, it's like some people that if it doesn't have Jedi or it's not about the Skywalkers, it's not Star Wars and it's boring. And I do not relate to those people. So yeah.
I mean, that could be because, I'm not going to say I've read, every corner of the internet and their reactions to a show, but it came out at a really bad time.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Not enough people watched it.
not enough people watched it. There was too much, viewer fall off for anything Star Wars. And I mean, even I, who was like still kind of like dragging along and heard good things about Andor, still couldn't get myself to watch it. I wanted to, but I couldn't do it.
I
Like, I
saw
still
some
want to,
comment. Yeah.
but
No,
yeah.
you do
And now
want
I'm
to.
more now I'm more inclined, but like it was really hard to like gear up for that again.
Yeah. No, I think that the fans that are out there were left out there because the people that would like this show aren't your normal Disney Plus subscriber. Other things on there aren't for them. And then your Star Wars fan that would be interested has been left behind a long time ago.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that was me. So I guess there's probably more of me's out there in that
Mhm.
sense.
I think there's some similarities, honestly, with Daredevil. If you've seen like any of the numbers on viewership for this show, I think
Yes.
it's probably suffering from the same thing. Like you've tugged the carrot away too many times, right? You've
Mhm.
duped us too many times, and
Yeah.
I wasn't even. Oh man, I still can't. I'm still kicking myself for setting up a Disney Plus subscription to watch this show. It still pisses me off. Stupid.
So the show
Stuck to
better
my
be
guns.
good, right? Yeah.
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 You guys, as long as Disney airs Bluey, I am locked. So
YouTube. It's on YouTube.
getting my money, yo.
You can watch
I
YouTube, and
agree.
then we
No,
bought the DVDs. We bought the
no, I
DVDs,
will not.
so
I
we
will
do
not
not
watch
need.
YouTube.
You buy DVDs then. I
Yeah,
bought the DVDs.
DVDs maybe, but
Mhm.
yeah, man.
So, anyways, I have to say I'll save more Andor talk. We get Dustin on Doc Andor when season
Yeah.
2's
Oh
coming
my
out.
God,
So
he
that.
would literally murder you if you had a podcast about Andor without him.
Yeah, I've already said too much. I'm sorry. I stole this here and I said too much without him present. So, but this drink is though it looks nothing like it's served in a glass that's similar enough. This is based on a drink called the Chandrillan Squig. It's basically a little cocktail that where Mon Mothma is from, and in theirs they put sort of edible eels is the idea. But I'm
Yeah.
having mine like Mon Mothma has sans eel. The little recipe does give a way to like make a silly little eel thing, but
Oh my, I thank you, and I'm pretty sure anybody who could lay eyes on this podcast thanks you, because blah.
well, when they make them for this hokey drink, it's it looks like a little gummy
Is it like-
worm thing.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like squirt a little chocolate syrup in there, get a little
Yeah.
brown eel shape floating in there.
No. So, they said it's a mango juice, lemon lime soda, and ice, and then they have a thing for which is like nothing. So then I put tequila in it too. So it's just inspired
Valid.
by this thing.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Good
I
for
like
you.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
Gummy worms would be good. That would be fun
Yeah.
to put in there.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
else vaguely like real eel inspired.
Yeah.
Chocolate covered gummy worms.
They tell you how to take like raspberry gelatin powder and plastic straws and kind of you mold it around a plastic straw or
Oh,
something.
sure.
And then whatever.
Nah,
Not worth it.
gummy worms.
Not worth it. Yeah. Okay, what was hopefully worth it is Daredevil Born Again. We got episodes 1 and 2. Spoilers abound here. Who wants to start? That's all the setup. Andrea wants to start.
Oh man. Okay. So episodes 1 and 2 were some mixed reactions for me. I thought that there were elements that were done really well and I enjoyed. And then there were things that I was a little bit frustrated about because I think we're all very aware that, this series got the green light, shot a bunch of stuff. They had to pull it all back because they were like, nah, it's not good. Like, we're not getting the reaction we want. Have to rewrite. Oh my God, like, we totally messed up. We need Foggy and Karen back. Like, they're coming back. So I think that there were some elements about the first two episodes that were a bit choppy because there was like we had this, but then we had to insert this and make it better. And they didn't quite always seamlessly work together. Or there were some moments where it was just like very transparent that there were excuses for these characters' absences in season one so that they could move forward with the good bits that they could save from the original plan. So I think that there were moments in this that were really great and there were moments that were pretty choppy. So I am happy this is back. I was happy to watch the first two episodes and get into what I wanted to get into, and I hope that the next kind of take off in a more coherent way. But yeah, it was a bit of a rough re-entry, I
Okay.
think.
That's what she said. Um,
Uh,
Mike, how about you?
Even literally. Um, yeah, I guess I've got somewhat similar opinions. I think overall, I'm more on the positive side and trying
mhm.
to overlook some of the incongruity.
Yeah.
Is that the? Anyways, there's things that it feels like this was written as a replacement to season 3 rather than a continuation of season 3 in some ways.
Mhm.
Um, like just their conversation at the bar, even, and then like Foggy, being like, I didn't want to give you a reason to put on the suit. Like
Yeah.
those things
Confusing.
didn't. Yeah. Eh, If this was the first episode of season 3, it would make more sense, right?
Mhm.
But being that the first episode of season 3 has actually happened, most people liked it, and it's probably one of the highest rated of the 3 seasons, it feels odd, right? I mean, without even the shock factor of what happens. But overall,
Mhm.
I still like it. I think in the first 2 episodes, it feels like a little bit of a cheap knockoff of what we used to have. Um, like even from the visuals, Disney threw in CGI stuff. I don't know why. Maybe Netflix did it as well, but they just did it better, like it more subtly. This was not subtle, and some parts are cool, but like running on the rooftop doesn't need to be CGI at
Right.
all. And I wish it wouldn't be because it's somewhat distracting and
Mhm.
it plagues the MCU stuff too. They've just gone so reliant on it.
Mhm.
So I didn't like that part, but I do like that. Like in the second episode, they tried to do kind of a long form conversation between Fisk and Matt in the
Mhm.
diner. Those
Mhm.
kinds of conversations were pivotal and critical to like the success of what the Daredevil series was. I
Mhm.
think in season 2, I counted like 3 or 4 episodes of no combat. Like not real, or no. It was season 3. There's like 3 or 4 episodes where the only combat was Matt boxing somebody to try and see if he's getting his feel
Oh
back,
yeah.
and
Yep.
Wilson getting Wilson getting stabbed in the prison, and then he drops 495-pound bench press on top of the guy, and the rest of it is just the rest of his conversation. It's compelling conversation, so I like that they're still trying to get that a bit right. Um, but yeah, so overall,
Mhm.
it's good. It's just not as good as it was.
Yeah, to your two noted points, I was very confused by this first episode as to whether Matt was Daredevil or wasn't Daredevil.
Yeah.
Because of that exact point, I didn't want you to have a reason to put on the suit, but then he like immediately goes and is Daredevil in the full suit, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And this seems
Right.
very normal and like an everyday occurrence. So okay, but then yeah, at the end of episode 1, I have I feel the tension between Matt and Fisk. This conversation is the best part of the whole reintroduction.
Mm.
Like, and it was even from the jump where he's waiting to say, I want to have a conversation with you. It was just like, here we go. Like, I
Mhm.
loved it. I was in. I was so in. So yeah.
Seems
Yeah,
like
I
they
think
just.
that was. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, John. I've talked enough.
Um, I do think that was the high point, our
Mhm.
confrontation, Fisk, and it's feeling each other out. It's it is good to see him back together on the screen, that kind of thing. But I thought I'd be excited right from the get go, seeing everybody back on screen, and I was too distracted with the hokiness. Ashley and I both looked at each other while we were watching and kind of like, this feels like they're trying too hard. It's just like it's
Yeah.
unnatural. I understood they were trying to do the whole moment of like everything is happy now. Look at this night. So when we have a tragic moment, it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming because everything was so happy. And it hits harder. But
I think part of the problem, and I totally get it. I loved their chemistry and like the feel behind the banter, but I feel like it was off also because the events felt weird. Like you couldn't place them in the timeline of like seasons 1 through 3, and this is like the extension of that. Or now Foggy is suddenly like hitting on a new person.
I
What?
know I'm like, what happened to Marcy?
And like and it all felt odd, like maybe Matt and Karen were like, oh, like friends, maybe not friends, like
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
everything felt too off. It felt too distant, even with a supposed time jump. It didn't
Right.
feel connected enough. So I think the dialogue gave everybody a lot of trouble because it was like, what? We are friends. We know how to act around each other, but I don't know how to say these words and make them natural because they're not fitting in our storyline.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, and
I don't know.
agreed. Foggy's doing great, right? He's working the girl, the other attorney, and then Karen's like, should we save him? It's like, save him from what? He's killing it. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
He was crushing
Like,
that.
Yeah, like what are you saving him from? Like if she would have said, should we save her? Then okay, all right, because she's fallen into the Foggy love. But that's like even that dialogue didn't make sense. And then
No.
oh god, he said the NM and P. It's like, guys, that doesn't sound that bad. I don't.
No.
Yeah.
No, it
It doesn't
didn't.
sound bad.
I've seen hokey
No.
is the word I came up with for this. It just felt
Pokey's
The
good.
dialogue was
serious.
hokey. The dialogue was hokey.
Mhm.
When they exited the bar and they were like at least walking down the street, I was like, here is just like the connection of these characters. Thank you. Like I appreciate it. Even for the 5 seconds we got it before the devastation. Like, you know what I mean? Like when they
Well,
weren't
I
trying
know they
to
like
sell
each other. They have real chemistry amongst each other.
when they
They're
weren't
happy
trying
to,
to sell this like hokey dialogue. Like I agree with
Mhm.
you, the word is hokey, but like I think it was the dialogue's fault and they just couldn't make it natural.
yeah. I know. I don't blame.
Well,
These actors are tested in these roles. I
Yeah.
don't blame them.
yeah,
Yeah.
But it
they're
was
great.
a rough opening. It was a rough
Mhm.
opening. I
It's
mean, yeah, I do have to say though, what comes next was like crushing for me. Even if, like I saw it coming somewhat. Woo, we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it.
What do you think of this next scene, Mike? What do you think? I mean, I was I thought I thought the fog looked fake. I thought Bullseye's costume looked stupid. I don't know what
Agree.
that was. And
I
then the fight
agree
was
with
a
that.
lot of it was like they were trying to do the thing, let's do a one big single shot that's not cut in the fight scene. We're going to keep pulling back through this bar, and things are going to be happening. We're not going to cut, and we're going to go through the stairwell and all sort of thing. It just
Like
didn't work for me because a lot of it was off screen, a lot of the fighting.
Right.
Some was
Do you like or
discovered.
not like that, Mike?
I like that scene a lot.
I did too.
Yeah, I didn't
Sorry.
buy a lot of it until we got to the stairwell. The stairwell stuff was better. And then we got more CG. I assume this is someone we were talking about. It's like on the rooftop. I immediately could tell when he was jumping around and not punching him. Why is Charlie Cox not up there punching someone and you have a CG replacement?
See, I was in the fight until that point, and then that was terrible.
Right. And it was a short amount of time because as soon as they get to the ledge, it's them again.
Yep.
Like, what is it about him landing on top of the stairwell and then jumping down and doing a couple punches? Why is that something Charlie Cox can't do when you straight up throw a guy off a roof?
Oh my God, you guys.
You'd think that would be the CGI part, but that looked real as hell.
Yeah, that was amazing. That broke my fucking heart. Like
there's a lot of elements of that. But the fight scene aspect, smoke did look not real, but I still thought it was cool ambiance. Had they done it better, right?
Yeah.
I liked how Bullseye picked up the pool balls, threw it at one guy, and then bounced the other off like 3 walls to hit the lady. Like that's super Bullseye. I like that. That was cool, right? That's the kind of campy I'm here for. And so then I liked the rest of the fight too. I thought it was super brutal how he just stabs the dude coming out of the apartment. He's like, call the cops, and then he just uppercuts the lady too. You see that off screen because Disney, right? We would have seen that in the Netflix show. They would have shown it.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't remember the moment you're talking about, but I don't think Disney's gonna make them cut corners on it. Like I've been hearing more and more how brutal it is.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but I mean, I feel like there was still sufficient brutality across these first 2 episodes that they did show. So I'm willing to give them a little grace, but don't pull too many of those punches.
I'm nitpicking. Absolutely right.
Sure.
Absolutely right. It still gets the point across. She drops the groceries onto the floor. You hear the contact. You hear her go, oh, right? And so it's all good. Makes me hate Bullseye in the best way. And yes, then you got the crazy CGI. So, but overall, I think that part's a good way to start it. I didn't need all the discourse leading up to that, right? And the episode would have been better without the conversation in the bar. I also thought they closed the tab at Josie's, so I don't know. But all that's good. The foggy part, it makes literally 0 sense. Yeah. Oh,
so mad.
I'll tee it up.
So mad. It hurt me though. His heartbeat slowing, and Matt's expression and Karen's expression, and them just like freaking out. Oh my God. It was devastating. They were doing that so well. Like that acting was top notch in there, I thought.
Brennan is in the YouTube chat. Thank you for jumping in here.
Hey, Brennan.
If you've seen the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again, feel free to add your thoughts. Yeah, I think the end bit there in the fight was good. Ashley and I both appreciated like him continually checking in, like on Foggy, how he's doing, hearing the heartbeat there, and when it finally ends, good for him. Just throwing him off the ledge. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm the one that's like tough for Daredevil, being like, it's like I get what you're doing. Don't go down that path. Don't cross the line. Yeah. But I also understand like the Punisher, it's like they just come back again. So even when, but yeah, that was a cool end to the scene. Yeah.
It's the beauty of the Daredevil character.
I was so annoyed when Bullseye lived. I was like, come on.
I know it.
Come on.
I know it.
Like, but we know that he's been
F him up
Min-
and reconstruct him, and he lives, and now we throw him off a building and he's still in a pool of blood, and suddenly like ugh, like
well, they clearly did like gave him modifications. That's the only reasonable
Yeah.
thing we
I
got here is
know,
like
but
when they were.
I don't want to have to think about that. I want Matt to just throw him off the building and he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it
So
was just
the
it's so many impossible injuries that you come back from.
Yeah.
bullseye. He's
Cockroach.
got to.
Cockroach. Just
So you
on
you
him.
guys don't think you don't like that Foggy is dead? I mean,
No.
It's not that I
Hate
don't
it.
like it.
No, I hate it. I hate it. I straight up hate it. I knew the second they started walking down the street and Fogg got a phone call and they were like, "Oh, why are you so?" I was like, this is happening. It's right now. God damn it."
I'm too stupid. I didn't see it coming. I don't. I understand why they did it. But again, I think it has to do with them treating this like the actual season 3. Like this is the problem with doing Born again. Because you're effectively trading the Elektra death for a Foggy death to make Matt go into this slump of why am I even Daredevil?
Mhm.
Which is also why it's weird for Foggy and him to be talking about like I wasn't sure if I should give you a reason to put on the costume because I thought we were past that
Yep.
right point of him deciding whether or not he wants to be Daredevil. And then you get him, he throws Bullseye off the roof, he takes off the mask, and I'm not going to be Daredevil again. It's like, dude, we've done this.
Yep.
And so you've killed Foggy off to do this again. That part seems unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the driving story behind well really I guess what was it? It was season 3. Right? I like the driving story behind are vigilantes good? Right? Do we want them? Do we need them? I think Daredevil does a great job with it, and this is our effective reason, right, for having this now. Because Matt has now decided I'm not going to be a vigilante. Well, but are they actually necessary, right? And so he goes back and forth on this. And that's why you had to kill off Foggy. You needed to give him a reason to quit. Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think you're right in the sense of both sides of it. You needed to kill off Foggy to give him a reason to quit again, and also to explain away Karen's absence in season 1 because they're really bringing her back for season 2. So it's like transparent and annoying in that sense. But also like, yes, it's also annoying to me that this season is attempting to sort of be another season 3 because I really enjoyed season 3. I loved it, and I loved the, like, final cohesion and the reunion at the end, and I was looking for more of that rather than this kind of, like, redux. Um, and I think this could have been just a really interesting continuation question because we could have approached it from a different angle now as we are introduced immediately to another vigilante, White Tiger. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
there's so much interesting story there to unpack, and sort of take it from not just a Daredevil question, but like a Daredevil representing White Tiger and like questioning, but like he doesn't know that, but Matt knows that, we know that. There's so much interesting, you know, philosophical questions here to play with, and you really didn't need to, I don't know, have this particular opening to play with them, I think. I think there could have been something else.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you're rehashing elements of season 2 and season 3. Like we did the should vigilantes exist all throughout season 2. That was the crux of it, minus the hand stuff that didn't need to happen. And then in season 3, you have him learning whether or not he should be Daredevil. So you're doing the same 2 plot lines.
yeah. Well,
I mean, I like it. I kind of like it within the like legal question now, representing another like vigilante. That's a little more interesting and again controversial, but yeah, it does.
but is there a legal question? I mean, the legal question is no, no to
Right.
vigilantism. Like that's the legal
But
answer.
it's really interesting the way that this is set up in, like, we really need to legally separate the vigilante from this particular instance, and can we do it? You
Yeah,
know?
well, it's because I
There's
mean,
this whole, like, separation of, like, he doesn't have an amulet. So
yeah.
there I don't know. It's just it is an interesting extension. I wouldn't spend, like, all of my time there, but it's an interesting extension of the question, and it's like it would have been, I think, a good callback to, what we've already gone through if we could move it forward somehow. And that's what I'm hoping episode 3 does, is move this forward.
Hmm. Yeah, it's I, I I feel like the vigilantism aspect of a more realistic superhero show has been played out. Like just in general, we get it with whether it's with Batman or with Daredevil. It's just one of those things like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like if you're going to have this kind of story, you sort of just have to accept that the world accepts heroes, some heroes. Because if you sit there and try to think about should we have vigilantes, again, the answer is no. It's a fantasy for it's a fantasy for a reason because like, oh, God, if justice could be carried out here, or it's so slow, or this person's going to get away, if only that someone could just take it in their own hands and have it done with, and like real justice be served. Like it's
Mhm,
that sort of fantasy thing that you can't actually have
mhm,
because you can't morally achieve this.
mhm.
So if you want to explain this in a show, like you, all heroes are going to go away and all heroes are bad, then the superheroes. So you kind of have to just like let it be and have, unless you go the boys route and you do like, okay, it becomes a corporatized,
Yeah.
government sanctioned, blah 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 blah, all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So I'm
I don't
not
think the show.
particularly interested in the let's debate the moral value of
No.
vigilantism.
No, and I
But
don't
this
think we
show does a
should
good
go
job.
there because I mean, we've done a lot of that. I just think this could be an interesting extension because Matt is fighting so hard to have this particular case separate from, like, the vigilante persona, and is, like, asking that any reference to that or, acknowledgement of that be suppressed for the jury, where,
That was for Fisk. That was not for him. That was for Fisk, in my opinion, right? Because Fisk's, correct me if I'm wrong
oh,
here,
yeah,
right? But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they had the conversation in the diner. They said,
I think
I'm not going to
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
think it was a both and. Because he's, like, trying to say, like, you can't say he was doing this as a vigilante right now, like, this, and the other guy was, like, very correct in saying, like, "I think this speaks to a pattern of behavior," and he's like, "No, no, no, like, there was no amulet, there was no superpowers," like, you
I
know?
see.
So I thought that that was an
Mm.
interesting aspect of it for him where he's, like, trying to separate the 2, but, like, Hector is very, like, "I am White Tiger, I love it," like, "I do the most good." So I think those clashing viewpoints are gonna be interesting.
Hmm.
But I don't wanna
Okay.
keep relitigating, like, no, I don't wanna keep exploring, like, should vigilantes exist or not, like, they do, you know,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
we'll see what the show
each
says about it,
person
I
has their
guess.
own, like, I don't know, each person has their own, like, moral code about it
Mhm.
and their, involvement. Matt is often reluctant, and clearly Hector is not.
I
He
mean, that's the
makes sense of his
irony
parents.
about Daredevil. That's fun. You know,
Mhm.
he's the guy that's supposed to, he helps uphold the law, yet he continuously breaks it.
Right.
Hmm.
Like he's, it's just like the ultimate. It's like the ultimate uh guilt that you hold, and then he's Catholic. So it's like he has to,
Love that guilt.
repent. Yeah.
Guilt.
It's just it's clever, I don't know.
Hmm.
It's unique.
Well, it's all the way the same thing with like his. I think you said it, but like with the killing aspect of it, right? He wants to kill people. He's not
Yeah.
Batman, where he doesn't want to kill anyone. Matt wants to kill these people, and it's constant inner struggle to withhold from doing so, despite the fact that, dude, the things he does to people definitely kill the people. Right? Just because you don't see it, like, you definitely kill them. But, you know, and that's what is great, you know, because we've had that characterization set up, him chucking, you know, Bullseye off the roof. It was almost like it wasn't even a chuck. That was the best part about it, right?
Yeah.
To me, is the nuance, because it was just like it wasn't a hard throw. It was a total fuck it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like raw grief. Like, oh God, the expression on Charlie Cox's face was haunting.
He's so good at that.
Yeah.
And the
So good.
animalistic roars that he does, like mid-fight.
Yeah. He always
you
does
know,
good.
when his frustration is just peaking and all that. Oh,
Yep.
He's
so much cooler than Batman.
That scene got to me so hard, just between him and, you know, that fight and that guttural reaction, and, you know, Karen's panic at trying to hold Foggy together, were just like the rising emotion, expressed in different ways, were just so affecting.
Brennan
what did you
is
think
wondering
about her reaction when they went splat behind her?
Like, from her?
Yeah, because
because she was terrified. She didn't know which one. Oh God.
yeah,
Oh
exactly.
yeah.
So
Yep,
good.
that was good.
Yeah, her just like frozen, slow turn. Oof. Yeah. Like I said, just both of them peak. And honestly, even I mean, I know it was like more limited, but Eldon Henson, as he died, you know, just all of it crushed me.
Yep. Brennan is wondering what you're drinking, Andrea. Says looks like a beer, but
I know I'm very deceptive. No, it's a big ginger. It is Irish whiskey and ginger ale.
Yep. And then Brennan says Daredevil is Batman without money. You know,
Sometimes,
different motivations. You know, different.
sometimes if you watch the Daredevil movie, Ben Affleck clearly has the money.
Somehow, even though he just takes cases and gets paid in fish and stuff yet or whatever.
Okay,
He's a really good lawyer.
He's a really good lawyer. I watched or I reread some of my show notes on Daredevil the movie, and I did note that somebody paid him, among the copious, you know, food items, paid him in like 6 bottles of Moe Shandon champagne. So I was like, well, somebody has money.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like the comparison, and that could be a whole episode to kind of talking between Daredevil and Batman. But yeah. Okay, we should talk about a few other elements to this. I didn't like some of the music choices. I thought that was very odd. Where those things came from.
I agree with you.
And then I mean we got Kingpin running for mayor, which I thought, you know, at least I thought it was one of the more realistic elements was his conversation with the police commissioner at the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's, because how would you react as the police commissioner having
Like
dealt
that?
with the corruption that he has spread and like the lives that he's ended? Yeah, right. So I thought that was good that you wouldn't just have everything fall in place for you, you know, because you've got the title now. So I thought that was well done. Are we buying the Kingpin's transformation as well? Are we buying Fisk's transformation?
No.
Is it?
No.
Did anyone watch Echo?
No.
Yes.
And I have.
Oh, you did, Mike? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Yeah.
I'm so annoyed because this series is really making me feel like I have to, because I have so many questions about Fisk. Do you know what I mean?
Doesn't
Like,
matter.
what happened between him and Vanessa? Like, I'm always missing something. They're always referencing something that they're like, oh, and then this, and then this, and then this. I'm like, what is your dynamic right now? Like, why did you come downstairs and there was a meeting and everybody was like, oh.
I
Like,
I don't like what they've done to Fisk and that dynamic now. I don't enjoy that at this point.
I I like the concept of couples therapy at this point because I think it's going to be interesting, and obviously it's going to be interesting because Matt's girlfriend is their therapist. But like I still, I'm still constantly like fumbling for answers of like, why is there this tension here? What is this? Like, you know, everybody's commenting that they're not together now that he's mayor and she's not celebrating him, but sort of, you know, it's very
The
weird to go
whole
from Daredevil to this to be like, I don't know what happened to you people.
the whole her not missing him for 2 years thing, that is a little strange. But
Mm.
like, I refuse to believe that this show will be dumb enough to have Fisk and Vanessa going to couples therapy for the sole purpose of Fisk and Vanessa going to couples therapy. This has to
No, I
be
don't think
another
yeah.
machination, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
has to be.
absolutely. Yeah.
He's getting leverage, right?
Yeah.
That's what this is. But I think he's killing two birds with one stone
Agreed.
because he has always loved Vanessa to a ridiculous degree. He's always put her first, right? Um, I don't think he's any more sappy in these first two episodes than he was in the original Netflix series. It's the same sappiness,
Mhm.
in my opinion. So I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's just like I, as a viewer, feel the missing pieces. I feel the gaps in my understanding, like very hard.
Remember in the diner where Matt is like, "Oh yeah, didn't she shoot you in the
Yeah,
head?" That's it. That's the end. That's all.
and I feel like
That's
I
all there
saw
is.
something of that because she was in something.
Okay.
Yeah, she was in Hawkeye. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Yep, 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 yep,
Mhm.
yep. So yeah, so there were like pieces like that I could get, but like Fisk and Vanessa was the biggest like
Yeah.
question mark.
Yeah, I
So
just I liked their dynamic together, and it was interesting how Vanessa developed, and that she would be like ultimately okay with what Fisk does and want to be more a part of that. And so then
Mhm.
this separation and coldness, the path that again, I do think a lot of this is how do we work our way back to where we want to be because they had to reuse stuff that was shot previously. I've heard the first half of this series is kind of rough in ways because it's a lot of reused stuff before they get to move forward. So I think a lot of it is trying to mold this, and they, because the Foggy thing, I think that's what the actors are referring to when they were on record saying there was a big dramatic choice that was made that we aren't convinced had to be made, but it was made before we were there. Like
Yep.
we didn't have the choice. It was already
Got it.
decided.
That's got to be it.
So
Mhm.
there's just some stuff they're going to have to kind of correct to move forward. And so I hope the counseling is sort of a correction so we can get Fisk and Vanessa back to where they were. I don't know. And it's really
Doesn't it
hard
fit
because
though?
does it fit?
Doesn't it fit? For Fisk has always leveraged people, even to Vanessa. Even as much as he loves Vanessa, he tried to keep her out of it for a little while, but he's always leveraged everybody around him to get angles. Right? This just feels
Yeah.
right in line. I see what you're saying about them using this as the pivot point to get into their content. That makes sense, and that should give us hope for the rest of the series then, if they're already doing it. Thank God it's not, if you're right, thank God it's not half the season is bad crap and then rewrite right in the second half.
Mhm.
But I don't know. That felt on character for me.
Maybe. I mean, right now Fisk reads as genuine, and I thought there was something that happened at the end of Echo that was like he went through some sort of trip or something happened to him, and he became like a changed person.
He does
And
reference that.
Yeah,
She
he
so
references that.
Which again,
at
it
the
makes
end
me
of
feel
Echo.
Unless
like
Mike,
I need to watch Echo, and it's annoying because I don't want to watch
Here,
Echo.
can I okay, can I save you from having to watch that terrible
Please
bullshit?
do. All right, spoilers,
Okay.
spoilers, spoilers. Now, not only apply to Daredevil.
Brennan's here. He's
Echo.
already seen it. He said it was aight. So,
I eat.
All right.
yeah.
So
Thank
at the end of it, Echo becomes Voltron
Mhm.
with all of the historical previous Echoes or people from her tribe, ancestors from her tribe. Think of like the way Black Panther stores all of the previous kings, right?
Yeah.
And then she gets imbued with their powers. And then this woman with no powers suddenly has all of the powers, is a superhero, and she grabs Fisk's head, does some golden hand magic thingies, and makes him pulls forward his suppressed memories of his child abusive father and mother. And he comes to terms with that and has a good cry, and it all emotionally comes to the surface. Even though
Hence,
Okay.
none of those memories were ever repressed, and they are very core to who Wilson Fisk is,
Yeah.
because he's supposed to be a mirror of Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
Right? They have similar childhood trauma. So it wasn't repressed. He's always known about it. It's made him who he
Right.
is today. He's freaking proud of it, but not in
Yeah.
Echo. In Echo, she made him cry.
yeah, he made him cry,
He
and
went
now
aw-
he's a changed man.
So he
Yep.
went away because of
He was in
that?
jail. He was in jail.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how he got out of jail.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, how this is confusing. Because did you watch The Defenders way
Yes.
back when?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't. Right.
Pieces
So
of it
when I
anyway.
picked up
I don't think I finished it, but still.
Daredevil season 3 on Netflix,
Oh yeah.
and
You're
like
like,
he's
what
in
the
the
hell?
hospital bed, I'm like, what? And he's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. I'm like, what? The last
Yeah.
thing I saw was the hand putting Elektra in a coffin.
Right.
now what?
Box, yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's very
I think
confusing.
I felt it is. So I felt the way that you feel right now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's basically what I thought had happened. That's what's leading me to think maybe he is changed and something is going to occur to bring back the real Fisk. But if they play it as because I feel like that's what their intent was in this. I feel like their intent when they originally wrote this show was to have that follow through from Echo. So they had a continuity. When they decided to start over, they was like, no, we want to have actual Fisk back. So I think they're going to get back to that. But I think right now, what we're seeing is him playing an actual changed person.
But he's not though. Like they make that clear in episode 2 and he's like, "Hey, police chief, like I don't need to lose the NYPD, so you're gonna stay where you are. So like check out this like horrible sandwich I'm eating / the pictures of your child I'm gonna murder if
But
you don't cooperate."
no, but it's not murder. It's not. That's the thing. You think that's where it's fun because that's like we have it guessing now because it's not about murder. It's about you have an illegitimate child that you thought you could keep secret. We will scandal you by releasing it. You because you know who Fisk is. You think immediately he's threatening the kid's life. He's just saying, I'm going to reveal the scandal that
Oh.
you're hit up with a mistress or whatever, this kid. Not I hate because that's too bold. That's old Fisk right away to say, hey, you think his new, pinhead counsel, his advisor or whatever is going to be okay jumping on board with oh yeah, I'll kill your kid here.
Yeah, blackmail.
No, it's blackmail.
It's
a
much
political
higher
maneuver.
character trait.
Yeah.
But would that really affect this guy? Would that really affect the police commissioner? Like everybody in this show is like, oh, he's so beloved. He's so beloved. Like everybody loves him. Like really with threatening like a kid, you know what I mean? Does it feel like that would bring him down? I mean, he hit him, sure, but like, I don't know. It feels weak
It would
sauce.
screw up his life.
It'd
I
screw
don't
up his
know.
life,
Yeah.
sure, but, like, would it really, like, make everybody turn against him? Like, I
I
don't
just
know.
think it's that's he's operating now under like politics as usual, not crime boss
I
as you.
I think he's being Wilson Fisk in playing angles on people. He's just sort of trying, like, maybe I'll play an angle on people, maybe where I don't murder them, or maybe he is, straight up like, I'll
See,
harm your kid. It
the only
is
reason,
ambiguous. It is ambiguous. Like, it could
yeah.
be, political scandal, or it could be like, I'm going to threaten the safety of your child because I know exactly where he is and where to find him.
The thing is, the reason Fisk could always do this before is because he was the kingpin and he had people everywhere. He had the city bought off in all right places. Every part of the infrastructure, he had people in. Does he have that now? The police seem dead set against him. Does he have people that he's paying in the police department? Because that's how this has to work. That's where his power comes from.
He
And
does.
he's been
So
Necessarily, it would just be anywhere. Do you know what I
he
mean? Like,
has precedent of starting this from scratch, right?
Yeah, he could
When
start
he
again,
went to
right?
when he went to jail, he had nothing. He figured out motivations, right?
mhm,
By identifying
mhm,
inmates' families and paying them off effectively, right?
mhm.
Um, Supporting the families so that he could gain their support essentially, and then turned it, right? So he doesn't do everything by brute force. He's always been more
Right.
sly than that. And now, to your point, he's got a police force that is divided because you've got Commissioner Goody Two Shoes, but then you also have these police officers with the Punisher logos
Yeah.
on their necks and on their wrists, right? So not all the police force is going to be against Fisk, right?
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay. Brennan says went away because of what Echo did in Hawkeye, right? I think that's right. I think he's probably was like gone because he got shot, right? Not prison this time.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes
that seems to
sense.
make sense
Sure.
to me.
Well,
And
yeah,
then
'cause Matt
Brendan still thinks
said,
Fisk
like,
is being
your
Fisk. So
like, doesn't he, Matt say your protege, like, shot you in the head or something,
yeah,
or
Mhm,
yeah,
so,
mhm.
yeah,
yeah, because he tried mentoring. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. I thought it for a hot second he was talking about, Dex, and then I realized he was talking about,
Oh,
Mm,
yeah.
which, I mean, both could
Mhm.
be true. He
yeah.
did
Yeah.
he did try to, like, be a guiding force for Dex, and, gave up on that a lot quicker than Echo, I think.
Yeah. One thing I wrote down, that is I need to read more. I've read a fair bit of Daredevil comics, but a lot of it hasn't dealt too much with the lawyering element of it. A lot of it I've read is like personal drama and then the superhero part. And I'm sure there's plenty of comics in there that are talking with the lawyering bit. But the line in there is, why are you representing a cop killer? And this is a problem I always
Mhm.
had in the beginning of the older seasons too. Is like this whole notion that I'm going to have a firm and I'm only taking cases of nice, innocent people. Like, I don't know. Does that exist? Are there people out there like, I mean, obviously you can pick and choose if you want, if you have the business or whatever, you can choose if you want to take a case or not. That's up to you for whatever reason. But I'm just wondering how many, it's like, well, how are you representing a cop killer? I don't know, because everyone gets a lawyer. Now, you don't have to
Well,
be that lawyer, but everyone gets a one, and
but they are commenting, I think, because, like, you don't have to represent the cop killer because that's what public defenders are for.
mhm,
Do you know what I
right.
mean? At this point, he's not a public defender, so he's
Yeah.
making a choice. So yes, I see your point. Like, everybody deserves representation, but I think their point is,
Well,
like, double in, you are choosing that, and then also, like, thinking back to Daredevil seasons 1 through 3, like, Foggy especially, but Matt Murdock too, were, like, on the side of the NYPD and, like, very anti-Fisk, and, we're defending
Right.
cops, like, we have the backing of the boys, like,
Yeah.
so I get the question there, even though I get your point too, Like, Matt is just doing what somebody deserves.
It always just like, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? It always just like, irk me a little bit. Like, you guys are having trouble paying for your electricity, and you're in this like horrible little office, but you won't take a client and defend them to the best of their ability, like give them their rights, because you had to find the most sorry people, like they're in such a sad state, like they're helpless or whatever, like they're a charity case forever. It's like,
Yeah.
you can do good. I just don't understand this mentality. You can do good by being successful. If they take on clients that can actually pay them, that means they can pay Karen. That means Karen can have a nice place to live,
Yeah.
and she can have food. That means that she is maybe going to a better part of town, and she's safer. Like,
But they're
this
not
thing is.
regular lawyers. Like Matt is a
I
built-in
know they're not regular lawyers. They're like, we're the charity case lawyers. Okay,
Pro bonos.
on the
because
cross.
Matt
Whatever you want
because
to
Matt
do.
is a lie detector.
Yes,
Like
I
that's
know, and I'm sure that
like
makes it more difficult, but
he gets the leg up. It's really more like Foggy just kind of goes along with it for so long before he knows why Matt can do this.
yep. I don't know. It's always kind of bothered me. Like, turn
Yeah.
your life around. That's why I was so happy with Foggy when he took the freaking job at the real firm, and he
Yeah.
was taking big cases and doing well, and he had the girlfriend and a nice place. It's like, good for you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Foggy. Like, yes, this is what we want here. I know Miss Gardinas is like, oh, they're gonna pay her 6 times what her place is worth, but because I don't know, I don't want to leave this rat infested place, I'm gonna stay here, and Fisk can't do anything about it.
Mhm.
Like, that was a whole storyline I didn't need to go on so long.
It's a storytelling element to show you just how kind-hearted
Yeah.
and righteous he is, right?
Yeah.
Because on the flip side, you have the Daredevil, right? Who's beating the living crap out of people as a vigilante. So now you have to offset that to show just how good he really, really is. And that is by defending the people who need to be defended, not the people who are actual pieces of shit, which was, the whole thing and struggle between Foggy with the Punisher and defending the Punisher. That to me is why I think it's a weird question, but I just suspend my disbelief. Like, hey, these guys have a history of defending people that you think are assholes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure. Yeah.
not that shocking at this point.
That's true. Yeah, that's true with the Punisher, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. One moment that bothered me was Matt almost getting hit by a car. I'm like, was he just pretending? Is this part of his act? Like, I'm blind? Because there's no way he's not knowing that car is coming as Daredevil. He was trying to follow the guy in the street, just as Matt. And so he's walking with his walking stick, and then he like stops because the car almost is like coming the crosswalk. It's like, is that just a very convincing act? And he's giving this person a car a heart attack to sell it? Or is this a mess up on the showrunner's part? Like, oh yeah, Daredevil didn't know the giant, multi-ton vehicle was coming down the street at him.
I
It's like
guess
a
I
mess
just
up.
took it as like he was so focused on, following this guy that he just wasn't like
Child's play.
But he wasn't using his senses in the right way. He was just like focusing them all on like, following the guy. So I
He
was a
does
little
do that.
startled as well, but yeah.
That's part of what I'm excited about with this series. I was hoping they go for is like, okay, I know they're not going to be afraid to superhero it up a little bit with the abilities and that sort of thing, because we've always seen Daredevil season 1 is him like getting these powers and learning to be this, and then but Sticks telling him that he do so much more, that sort of thing. Season 2, he gets distracted by Elektra, but he does learn more things like how to fight people that are concealing their heart rates and that sort of thing or whatever.
Mhm.
And then season 3, it's taken away and he has to build up again,
Mhm.
so he has to start from like square one and harness it, like learn to control his powers again.
Right.
So in this, I'm like, oh, this is 5 years later. Like to me, this can be Matt at a much higher high of
Mhm.
like attunement with his ability and prowess and all
Right.
that sort of thing. So I just
Sure.
don't want to, I'm not going to give them any leeway on him not fully having it.
Mm.
Hey, yeah,
And Brendan says he
I'm
thought
with you.
that too.
Seems like a mistake.
Yeah. I mean,
Daredevil Unleashed.
yes,
Yeah.
but I mean, he's also supposed to be like not being Daredevil, so maybe he's like actively trying to not use that stuff. So maybe
Oh,
he's
I don't want that. If that's the case, I don't like
well.
that either.
I feel like we're rapidly moving beyond that. You know, like with the closing scene of episode 2, where he's like, "Oh, stop! Like, crooked cops, don't beat me up," and then he's like, "No, I can't do it. No, I can't do it. I can't just sit here." You know what I mean? So maybe there was, like you're gonna be annoyed at that, but he was, out of practice and like was really just focusing and like, oh, shit, I forgot to like focus, but also pay attention to my, ambient noise around me. If we do it,
Bullshit.
if we do it, if we
Bullshit.
do it again and again and again, like it's not great, but I don't know. I'm just trying to find like a
I'm
maybe
going with they made a mistake. Yeah,
two
I think
two episode logical explanation.
I do
Can-
love that scene, the end scene of episode 2, though.
Yes.
That was great. That's a good setup. And of
Great
course,
fight.
what do you do? What do you do? You're gonna let them have their fun. They beat you up a little bit because you're not saying what you're gonna say. But when they're gonna kill you, you have no choice now. Now what do you do? Now what do you do?
Yeah.
it's it's dumb though. They're the cops, or at least one of them is the cop that is going into this trial. Is
I
this guy
know.
not gonna? Dude, this dude's not blind. He kicked the shit out of me. Like, I mean, come on. You incriminate yourself a little bit because why were you there? But you could also just say, hey, I was just going to this place to ask the guy something, and this guy showed up and kicked the crap out of me. It's a police words versus his word.
Both hands though, like I mean, he definitely like before Matt unloaded, he like punched Matt in the face and like gave him a bunch of like injuries that would be very like, look at this, what happened to me.
How do you differentiate a punch in the face between aggression and self-defense when there's no witnesses? Right? It's just someone's word against the other.
Yeah, but what
And-
are you saying he's supposed to do here, Mike? Though, what was Matt supposed to do?
Matt's supposed to kill him. This is where Daredevil, who pushes, Bullseye off the roof, needs to be like, oh shit, well, I'm kind of screwed here.
I mean,
it's already
unclear.
a
He could have
mess.
killed them.
I suppose that's true.
There was some
It
pretty
was a mess.
yeah, I was gonna say there's some pretty nasty elements to the end of that fight. There were some squishes, there were some thumps.
Yeah.
Like it is entirely possible that at least one of those two are dead.
Well, in
That's
the
true.
normal logic we have of like, yes, he's like the way he's beating people up, there's a good chance a
Yes.
lot of them are dead, but they're
I
not
was-
actually in the show. And I don't think these guys will be either because he's quit being Daredevil because he actually finally crossed that line and he meant to kill Bullseye. And so I don't think he's doing it again. Like that's a whole thing he's gonna have to work up to again. He needs counseling from Frank Castle for a while to like figure out why it's okay for him to kill some more. Like he's gonna have to
Whatever brings
get there.
Frank back into this. I want it.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm so excited for Punisher.
Yeah.
Just, to keep on that note for a hot minute. I'm so excited
Yeah.
for Punisher.
I want to see how they handle this whole thing. I want to see how they
Mhm.
handle
Yes.
the aftermath of this
At
situation.
this point, I am excited for Punisher. Like that could change.
Yep.
But
Yep. Okay. Well, there are plenty of other things we haven't talked about on the show, but is there anything you guys want to bring up? Anything to mention? Those other plot lines and stuff. We gave our okay, how we generally feel about our coming back, what we thought, sort of our big moments and stuff like that. There's
Do
lots
you
of other
guys
little things like
know?
Matt's dating. Go ahead.
Do you know why they got rid of Karen? Because it feels like they got rid of Foggy and Karen to replace them with darker skinned Foggy and darker skinned Karen.
That's what they
Yeah,
did.
they
That's what
did.
they did.
Why?
But they're I mean, I know that they're going to be back in season 2. Like, that's been
Okay.
confirmed. So
They?
I don't.
Both of them?
Yes, yes. Eldon Henson is on set shooting, so I don't know.
Probably
I mean,
flashbacks.
yeah, it's very likely. A lot of people have speculated it's going to be flashbacks or visions or, some kind of, you know, Foggy is alive scenario. Um so yeah, so I suspect there was just not a way to work them in season 1 without, having to completely reshoot everything and everything that
Yes.
they had done being lost.
They were replaced because the original showrunners were idiots and didn't care about
Yeah.
what came before. They were supposed to keep it separate. It's its own thing,
Nah.
new tone, new vibe, all that sort of thing. So they got rid of them. And they replaced them with darker skinned people then for fun. But now they came back with different people and said, when we're gonna change the tone. We're gonna match the tone more like the Netflix show. And so we'll find a way to bring them back. But we didn't have a say about that to begin with, like Andrea said, without reshooting everything and wasting even more money. So they're on hold
Mhm.
till later.
Mm.
And bringing Foggy back, right? It's got to be, unless there's no way, I don't think, to do
I know.
he's alive,
I know.
So
I really wanted an he's alive. I wanted an out, but it was devastating, and if it's final, then it was a crushing final moments for me.
yeah,
I like the spunk of the psychiatrist. Honestly, I like her as a character. And so the reason I asked the question is because I don't understand why she and Karen couldn't coexist in this show, right?
Oh, I mean, they
Yeah.
can maybe in
Yeah.
season
Right.
2.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's what I didn't realize that this was still an element of the original concept. So
Yeah.
that answers
Yeah.
it. Because in fact, that'll be a really good dynamic because Matt and Karen have this friends with benefits sort of vibe.
Will they? Won't
Right.
they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And now this psychiatrist seems like a great character and fits really well with him. Super spunky, right? Full of
Mhm.
confidence, kind of the opposite. So interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she needs to turn out to be like a Hannibal Lecter sort of therapist in the Hannibal show,
Oh.
and she just encourages Matt's bad side.
That'd be interesting.
It's not going to be that, but it would be cool. I would
No.
be kind of down with it a little bit. I don't know.
She definitely can't because there's already an element of her, being the therapist for Fisk and Vanessa, and there would be too many things
Yes, that's
with her
right.
character.
Duh. Yes.
There's too many things going on with her character. Maybe down the line, or there might be some conflicting advice there, but not right now.
Matt's going to find out, break
Fisk.
into her office, and
Yes.
find out what they've been talking about.
Absolutely.
What if Fisk tries to pull one over on her, but the whole time she's been coordinating to make Matt and Fisk fight? She's the queen pin. She's the real queen pin. That'd be cool. It's these are my two competition on the bad side and on the good side, but they both got to go. I got to own this thing. That'd be awesome.
I like it. Okay, so Brennan says 8 out of 10 for first 3 episodes. It's high score. And then he says in comics, Foggy fakes his death.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I would be happy if it was done well because I've already said I love the camaraderie and I hated Foggy dying, even though it was moving as hell. So if it's done well, I'd be happy.
Yeah, it have to be convincing.
Really good.
Matt hearing the heartbeat die. It's gonna have to be there's this herb from far away China that you blend
Wakanda.
up and it stops your heart, and stuff like
Wakanda.
that. And he took it, and
Yeah.
yeah, something. But then it
Well,
would maybe be a thing with Karen going away, like assisting, like she knows, and like she
Yeah.
helped with this, and she's kind of whatever they're up to, getting him set up in a new life and
Yeah.
something.
Could be
theoretically, you
interesting.
could just do it that they restarted his heart in the ambulance and were able to keep him alive until they could do surgery,
Right.
and at that point,
And
Matt was
still
too far
Karen
gone.
and
Yeah.
still
Yep.
Karen helped him, in his setting up his new life, and she's all distant with Matt because she's like, "Oh, no, I can't talk about Foggy's death," you know,
Yep.
but I had to stay away
Yeah.
because I'm helping him set up his new life.
Well, cause what was the trouble he or someone he knew was in, or at the beginning? Because he'd need
Of this show?
motive. Yeah, he'd need motive to like disappear and be gone and pretend he's dead. He was getting the
Oh, I see
call, and
what
he's
you're
like, "I don't
saying.
want to." What was that? What was?
Oh, that was just he
Yeah,
had a
set up.
witness in the case, right?
Yeah.
And Bullseye broke into the room where that witness was staying, and coerced the witness to tell him where Foggy and Karen
Fisk
were.
did. Or Fisk
Huh?
did.
Well, yeah, but
This is all like a big elaborate setup, and Foggy's like, "Oh shit, he's back and he's got leverage on my family again," and I don't know.
that could be somebody
I don't know.
broke in because that his informant, remember,
Yeah.
called him back and said, "I'm
Yep.
sorry. He just wanted to know where you were."
Yes. Oh god, that was so oh. I just knew shit was about to get real, and I was, urging Matt, as he realized what was going on, to get back. I knew he was gonna come back and save Karen, but it's like, get there, get there, get there.
Would this show be different if Karen got killed and Foggy didn't? If they reversed it, if Bullseye took the shot at Karen first.
Well,
It would
that
be
was one thing.
it would be different, but it would be more like the comics. Because isn't she killed by Bullseye?
Yeah, right. But in the
Oh, is she?
comics, the scene's replaced in Daredevil season 3. In Daredevil season 3, that's Karen, not the priest. That's the
Yeah. I'm
difference.
I'm just I mean,
Oh,
I don't think they have to like match up exactly, but it would be
yeah.
I didn't know
I don't know.
she
What do you
died in the
guys?
comics.
Yeah. What do you? Yeah, I read. There's a good one called Daredevil Yellow that is all about like Matt's aftermath dealing with her death, and it's quite
Mhm.
quite nice. Um. Well. Yeah. I always have that question. Like, what do you think between changing something so people that are familiar with the source material are surprised, or just honoring it? Because like you say, Mike, for you, it would have been a complete surprise. And for most people watching the show, it would be a complete surprise. They wouldn't know that, oh, it's coming. This is where we're going to kill Karen. Oh, this is, so I don't know.
I mean, it could still happen because he's alive even after being thrown off the roof.
Mm-hmm.
He's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anything else? Anything else needs to be said? Okay. That's Daredevil Born Again, episodes 1 and 2. I'll get on watching episode 3
Mhm.
quickly, hopefully here. I don't know when exactly, but quickly, hopefully. And
Do better, John and Andrea. Do better.
okay. Yeah, well, so next week we will likely be here. We live streaming in the same spot, otherwise, and podcast will go to the same place, but it'll be the Ohio Anime Show, and I think we'll be talking about some solo leveling. It's time to cover probably quite a few episodes. I'm not sure how many, but we'll get caught up on the latest season of that. And so if you are, then make sure you tune in for that. And then the week after that, we'll probably talk more Daredevil. That'd be likely episodes 3 and 4. If we can squeeze in 5, if it's out at the time, we'll see. So try to stay pretty current. But Brennan, thank you for being in the YouTube chat and contributing. Appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thanks, Brennan.
Yeah. Anyone that's interested, make sure you subscribe, like, and share any of the places. Like right now, we're live on Twitch, X, and YouTube. We also put this out on podcast directories, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. So you can follow us in your favorite place. Leave a review. That'd be appreciated. And then Mike here is an actual race car driver, and he has some social accounts and stuff like that. Why don't you tell the fine viewers where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me at track_mouse on Instagram and trackmouse34 on YouTube. That's pretty much it. Those are the two places. And YouTube, it's old stuff. It's all in-car camera kind of stuff. Instagram's a little bit more fun and, catchy reels and stuff. So yeah.
I like watching the videos though, and that's
Thank you.
someone can watch it kind of as like an ASMR if they want,
It does have
it's
that
peaceful,
element.
yeah.
Yeah.
Except for like
Especially when I
occasional
spin
time when
out.
you like, as I say, occasionally there's a little cursing, but not too much. So, all right. Well, thank you both for being here, and we'll see everybody next time.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Cheers, everybody.